motherfucking time. It's time to do this shit. Now, first, I want to say I love the new layout, Melissa.
Thanks.
I love it. Now we still got some work to do. We're gonna continue to upgrade the audio. I hope the audio is better than it was last week. Please put a 1 in the chat if it is better. Now hear me out. I think we're gonna be going back to our worker bee individual microphone setup so we can have a strong condensed audio experience. So we're just not listening to so much of the room. But it'll be good. We'll have to wear headphones, though.
Headphones, and then maybe we can record in, like, Dolby Atmos. Ooh. Spatial reasoning or whatever.
That's really taking podcasting to the next level, Zachy B.
Right?
That's really innovating the audio and podcast world.
I don't know if you meant that as a joke, but just being, like, a nerdy music guy, like you saying spatial reasoning to me, is like something I would say to Glenn.
Was it soothing to the ears to hear someone else say that?
It's one of those things I actually don't know what it means. I've just heard you say it a lot.
Well, it's out there for anybody that wants to do.
Anytime I read about the Las Vegas sphere, they use that term a lot too.
Sphere?
I think that's the only place you can really get the full advantage of spatial audio. Are you tired, Lex?
Am I boring you?
No.
You got somewhere to be tonight, or?
This is where I need to be.
All right. We're going to be right here on the Honeycomb Hideout, and it does happen at 7 p.m., although it is 7:37. There's still a lot of sevens in there, Zach.
There's like 2. And
it happens every midweek on a hump day.
Wednesday, let me.
Mm-hmm. And this is an ongoing project, really. This is season 3, and this season we went around and we have polled everyone and asked everybody at home what they thought the podcast should be about. You know what the biggest thing? I don't know if it was like a compliment or not, but most people want us to do nothing.
Well, that's boring.
Nothing at all?
Well, I guess what they're trying to say is if it ain't broke, then don't fix it.
Oh, I like that.
Everybody's loving the background.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. We're not done putting awards up yet, either.
Yeah, there's still a couple.
There's still a couple more. That's why you're seeing some space here.
Yeah.
But we ran out of tacks.
That's the downside.
And then Zach came in heroically at the end and brought us a box of tacks.
Thank you.
We had to make it here.
You're very welcome.
I see y'all eyeing my joint over here.
They want to smoke it.
So, can everybody please share the feed? Because with all the upgrades that we're doing this hoping that we can open up that funnel. We're hoping that we can talk about more on the podcast. I know everybody loves music industry stuff. We're never going to change that. Of course, we're going to talk about band stuff. We're never going to change that. I mean, this is a podcast. This is an opinionated podcast from the eyes of some of the people in the band. I mean, so the stuff that we talk about here, I can't speak for everybody or all the staff in the company. This is just sometimes I talk about things here. This is an opinionated, non-fact based podcast.
Yeah. Opinions only.
Yeah.
And we encourage you to do your own research, you know.
That's the best way. You might hear...
don't take our word for it.
Right. You might hear a variety of different articles and, and topics. And for those that don't know, you could do the same thing at home. Basically, we take the month or the week and we scour the internet for the coolest stories on technology, AI, of course. And every day we are... always hammering away at the latest in the music industry, be it technology, photography, and especially the independent music industry. So if you are an independent artist and you're looking for tips and tricks and extra participation, this is a great place to be. If you are an industry artist and someday you're looking forward to a pathway of independence, this is also a good place to be. So, without further ado, I do have a disclaimer here that I, every now and then, I like to read. If you could, because we do this entertainment thing, because we do this podcasting thing, and this music thing is not a hobby for us, please, the best thing you can do is share this feed.
Share.
Wherever you guys are at, if you love this podcast and you want to help it succeed and you want to see us grow, we really need to grow this season to keep this thing going. So those of you that donate and give us stars or help us out in all forms and fashion on the internet, that is welcome. But one of the most powerful things you can do that costs you no money, that costs you no donations, is just comment, react to this very podcast and share it every week and every Wednesday. All right. With that said, we do not do band to you.
That's so important.
Meaning, if there's something that we say on this program that shakes you up a little bit, take a break, walk away, get a glass of water. Zach feels differently about things than I do. Me and Lexi don't always agree. And it's very rare that me and Melissa are driving on the same side of the road. In fact, that's what makes Sepsiss so powerful in a way. Is when we are powerful, it's because we realize that we're not separated by our differences. Okay, we're able to notice the differences in the different strengths that we have about each other, and then we bring each other up. All right, I know that's tough for some of you newborns.
I'm sorry.
Well, if you stick around, Lexi's gonna talk. You listen to this, Melissa? If people stick around, they get to find out why Lexi thinks that she's a Gen Z throwaway. That's what I heard today. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So, guys, we don't do
this. I have questions.
So, just to throw it out there, though, we don't do band to you. We don't Sepsiss band to you. I know a lot of people out there don't like us or whatever. Just stop watching. Do yourself a favor. We don't have the ability to do heavy metal to you. Okay? We can't do podcasting to people. So if there are any ideas or opinions that we express during this live stream that you find offensive, intense, or emotional, we strongly recommend that you go fuck yourself and turn off the device. For God's sakes, learn to turn off social media. Turn it off.
Mm-hmm. Nobody's forcing you to be here.
No.
In regards to the rest of our art, or our images and wildlife pictures. Our websites, you have the responsibility to exercise the full extent of your freedom and birthright and ignore our band pages, podcasts, and music and live streams for fucking ever. Imagine that.
Thank you.
Shit that annoys you, there's a button for it. There's a button.
The internet's a big place. If you don't like being here, you don't have to be here.
There's so many other things going. It's amazing to me how people find time to not like me. Because you could just ignore me. I tend to ignore shit I don't like.
It's quite simple. If you don't like it, kind of just don't participate.
Kevin's like, I like being here.
Oh,
hell
Kevin!
yes! And Kevin, we like you
Come
being
here,
here.
Kevin!
Right, for all of you that like being here, disregard.
Right?
Come join us in the hideout.
He can anytime he wants to.
Kevin's
Good.
awesome.
Kevin's always welcome.
I love Kevin. Kevin's
I
awesome.
miss Kevin.
Already.
Right?
Right?
We're going to go see Kevin.
Kevin, we're gonna come see
Slightly
you.
technical said, if offended, grow up and pull the tampon out of your butt.
There's Lexi's signature standing O.
That was a standing O for sure, man.
Thank you so much, Slightly. Our band's entire project, Sepsiss's entire message, our lyrics, our investment, our resources, art, our studying, and even our training. Our passion and our hard work is all designed and dedicated to encouraging conversations around local music, art, expression, freedom, and fairness. Do you fucking get it, motherfucker? Get it! Stop fucking with me. All right, so we are educating bands, and at the same time, for the first time ever.
For the very first time.
For the very first time.
I love that joke.
We are educating the fucking fans, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving you guys the knowledge.
And knowledge is power.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. We're educating the bands and we're educating the fans about the tools, news, and really what's left of the modern music industry, or lack thereof. We inform people about the internet. We update people on economic and cultural contributions. We recognize that while we are lacking a comprehensive and recognizable music industry for our band Sepsiss, that there is no shortage or lack of a music business for upcoming musicians.
I like the way you said that.
That's fair, isn't it?
I like the way you said that.
We would love for you to come and be a sponsor of ours. Clothing companies, other podcasters. Remember, we are a rock and roll band first. And we do wear many hats, but we are live streamers, we are podcasters, we shoot music videos, and so much more. A quick shout out to our current partners and affiliates found on our website, www.sepsiss.com. That's SEPSISS.com. Somebody asked me the other day, and say, isn't there like 20 Sepsiss bands? I said, there's probably like 30. And they said, which one's the real one, Will? And I said, obviously, the one that's the most popular to you.
I like the way you said it. Yeah.
You know, we're friends with some of those bands.
Real. That's
Nice.
real.
And
the one that's most popular to you.
whoever's most popular, it's like, you know, they have the Architects, and it's like they have Attila, and then they have Attila. You ever heard of the band Attila?
What? So that
I'm sorry,
is a
I don't
thing.
listen to hip hop.
Okay. So, put a 1 in the chat if you're a band and you did your Spotify wrap up. Lexi's gonna laugh because we all laugh at the Spotify wrap up. But
And while we're waiting for some ones, I do want to say, if there's anything people take away from the show, I hope it's a t-shirt, because we are selling them at sepsiss.com. This is all just a front for the brand.
yeah, I was gonna say, really, now more than ever, I think our t-shirts are cheaper than most people.
Yeah.
I've been noticing that we've been beating people at the table for the prices. But I'll tell you what, people have gone above and beyond in the realm of artwork. I've got the best t-shirt.
Is everybody but me wearing one?
I mean,
Now,
I guess I'm the loser.
oh my gosh, Zach, you are not a loser. Oh my god, you're making me feel like you should have this shirt. Like, you can have
And
it.
it would fit on his arm.
I feel bad that you're left out.
So I was going to
One of
tell-
us doesn't belong.
Oh my god, Zach, you belong here. You belong here. I feel so bad.
Anyway, you were saying?
Sometimes people send us t-shirts. If you are part of a podcast or a band, you're welcome to send Sepsiss your t-shirts.
Robert wants to know your size.
Who? Zach?
Robert M. Rosenthal?
Nobody ever asks me my size.
He wants to know your size.
Oh, okay. I'm relatively small, I'd say. Zach
It's the polar opposite.
Zach is robust.
I'm a big boy.
So, okay.
Quarantine with Malachi shirt coming your way.
Holy shit, that's dope. I've noticed that a lot of people have fun dressing us up.
Yep.
So we've opened up this new. So we didn't know this in the beginning. At first, we started off as kind of like, oh, nobody's gonna want to do it. It's kind of silly, you know. So we were like, if people send us their T-shirts, we'll wear them on the podcast. Or if we really like them, we'll wear them on stage. You know, sometimes when we advertise to over 1 million people.
Mm.
So it's nice. Like if we now here's the thing. Like if we don't like your shit, we're not wearing it. Because we have an anti-people pleasing scumbag policy.
Yeah.
And it's if we don't like something, we'll rather encourage you to get better at it. You know, instead of saying that we love your music or we'll follow you because it's a nice thing to do. We follow bands we actually like, and then that way you know. So if you're a band and we follow you, you're like, holy shit! Not only do they follow me, they really authentically like me.
Yep.
So you know, if same thing with the T-shirt. If you guys send us merch or you have a clothing company, you guys are welcome to send it. Inbox us and send it out. If we like it, we'll definitely wear it. And we'll not only wear it on the podcast, we'll wear it on stage, and we'll wear it in real life too.
Mm-hmm.
See, this band support thing that we do is not a fucking gimmick. It's not a role playing thing. It's not a goof. It's not a gas. It's not a gimmick. It's something that we don't only do now. It's not, me and Melissa didn't started doing this band supporting thing when we went live. And we didn't start going live during the pandemic to ask people for shit. See, a lot of the bands, they went live during the pandemic because they were bored.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't, and it's understandable. They were looking for ways to recover their careers and look for ways to keep sturdy and keep the house up.
Communicate.
It's understandable. But then after the pandemic, now the bands don't go live with the fans anymore. They don't give a fuck. Occasionally they go live when they need stuff, when they want votes, or they need new merch, or they need you to. When there's a call to action, the bands will go on and they'll interact with the fans.
Yeah, when they need attention.
We've been interacting with fans the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I point that out is because I want people to understand how consistent we are about supporting other bands. That just is the same as we interact with the fans, and we're consistent about being approachable by fans in the venue and online. We don't need no record labels, no managers, and nobody stands between us and our fans.
There's no barrier.
And that's because this band is not in pursuit of an industry that stands in between us and our fans. See, bands are so caught up and carried away in pursuit of an industry that they put the industry in front of their very fans. And they're convinced that they need to go through an industry to get to their fans. Fuck all that. We just hang out. Yeah.
Just talk to us.
Yeah. So we remain approachable and we remain approachable on day one. And that hasn't changed. So same thing with the bands. We ain't no weekend warriors. If we fuck with you, we fuck with you full time. We don't fuck with you when it's good and when it's perfect.
When it's convenient.
When it's convenient and when it's seasonal. You know, if Sepsiss got your back, we got your back from the front to the back. Mm-hmm. From in and out. We support bands when times are good and we're winning awards. And we support bands when we're not doing so great. Mm-hmm. We're approachable when we're having a great day. And we're approachable when we're not having a great day. Because we know the difference between personal and professional behavior. Thank you so much to the quits. And if you guys don't know about the quits, you need to quit. Now. Nah, you got to go check them out. Me and Melissa were pleasantly surprised. And we're going to do another dive and do some band stalking later to listen. So another cool thing, when bands send us, because we don't want to be wearing people's clothes without listening to their music. Mm-hmm. That's embarrassing.
Right.
Oh
So-
my gosh,
you-
that's also a
that's so-
huge thing with like
Bro, that's a-
millennials
Yep.
or anyone that listens to music. If you are wearing a band T-shirt and you don't know that band,
Yeah.
you're toast.
Is that a thing?
Yes, that's
You're
a
in
thing.
trouble.
Is it?
Yes, that's a thing.
I
That's
grew-
a huge thing.
All right, so I grew, because I grew up on hip hop. Nobody supports anybody. Period. So like when I came over to metal and people were like, "Oh, Will, be careful. Some of the people here aren't supportive." I was like, "Dude, you should go to prison." I was a gangster rapper for 15 years. See, in gangster rap, you got to do all that stuff to be convinced. In rock and roll, you do the moves and you do all the rock and roll bullshit. And in gangster rap, you got to follow through. You see how authentic we are in Sepsiss? Well, I did the same thing, only in gangster rap.
Very authentic.
Yeah, when I went right to prison. I won a bunch of awards. It's called county and state time. See how that works?
Incarceration.
Right. I have all kinds of awards, Lex.
Did they give you nice shiny bracelets too?
I was going to say, they gave me a rapper chain,
Ooh.
shackles.
Chain went from the neck down to the belly.
Bro, I'm telling you. And around a whole nother dude.
Chain hangs low.
You ain't lying. You guys want to talk about this? Oh, so I have some unfinished business, actually. Make sure... Yeah.
Unfinished business.
Oh,
Yeah. So
this sounds really serious.
Yes. So VIP is limited for the Connecticut show. Guys, we only have one show booked right now. I don't know if we'll ever play again. I really don't. So if you ever want to see Sepsiss ever play ever again, you're going to want to go to Connecticut to the legendary Toad's Place on January 13th. And of course, you're going to want to wish my buddy Opus a very, very blizzard birthday. Dead by Wednesday is headlining. There's a whole bunch of bands down there. It's nuts. I'll actually pull up the bands at the end of the show. We will tell everybody the entire list of bands because there's a whole bunch of them. And
I was going to say, there's 2 stages, yeah.
It's 2 stages, and this isn't Swarm TV. But if you want to know... I should make y'all wait to Swarm TV, really. But at the end of this, if we have time, we'll do all the bands, okay?
Okay.
Because that's cool. And yes... we will be having Opus on the podcast at some point.
Hell yeah.
Yes. So, guys, you guys know we never, because we just don't do it here. So don't ask. People can't even request to be on this podcast. The only way you get on this podcast is to be on it. Opus, the drummer and founder, Dead by Wednesday. I think the guitar player is coming on too, I believe. They will be here on the Honeycomb Hideout in person. We only have in-person guests on the Honeycomb Hideout. We don't do via satellite or via Bluetooth or whatever the kids are doing now. Opus will be here in the studio, in the Hideout, with us, and we're going to be talking about New England. We're going to be talking about New England bands, independent bands, touring. I want to hear about their trip to Europe.
Oh yeah.
That's what.
Oh yeah.
When you think of New England bands, when I think of what it means to be successful as a local and regional band, this is a band I think about.
Thank you, Brandon, for 10 stars.
Brandon,
Thank
that
you.
is major. And see, Brandon
you.
just sent them
Thank
stars to us. We're really trying to improve on this thing as time goes on. Brandon, that really melts our hearts here, man. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Besides sharing and just watching, that's the ultimate gift.
Yep.
So we are. It's not like a rumor or maybe. They just have to pick the day that they're coming, and Dead by Wednesday will be. I think they are the 3rd guests I think we've ever had on this podcast. We've had a guest a season. We just don't do guests on this podcast.
Oh, what? Happy early birthday, Kevin.
Happy early birthday,
Happy
Kevin!
early birthday, Kevin.
Kevin's 26 again!
He's getting cake smashed in his face Sunday. I can only imagine. what
Yes!
that means.
Wait a minute.
Yes!
Who's doing it?
Yes! Smash the cakes! Yes!
I was spared my last birthday from the cake smashing.
For now.
For now.
For now, Zachy B. For now.
Right, there's always next year.
Wow, thank you for 200 stars, Geo.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
This will
Geo.
mean a bigger table.
Oh my god. Thank you, Geo.
We're working on it. This is just step one.
This was step one, Geo.
I was gonna say, this is like a 3 to 7 phase.
Right, no, this
project.
right. This is the easy part. No, this is the part that costs the least amount of money.
This was phase 1. Stand by for phase 2.
So
Commencing.
there is limited room if you guys plan on going to the Connecticut show January 13th. There's limited room for VIP access. Somebody just asked me too today if we could play guitar or write music. Yes, we can do that.
That's the whole point.
That's the point. So this isn't like, sometimes we do after parties where people can run around naked and drink beer, but
I do that all the time.
we do that
Good
all the
idea.
time. But when we have the VIP access, especially with the hotels and the RV, it really is limited. Because normally we're only grabbing an RV that's like 30 feet.
Right.
There's only so many people that you can fit. It's not like we get a big tour bus like Metallica. You know, we get a little camper.
Metallica has a fleet of buses.
Right.
Oh my
you know what I mean?
gosh, they have a fleet? That's cool.
They're the biggest heavy metal band on.
I just like that they
Yes.
have a
Okay.
fleet.
Oh, yeah.
I just
Yeah.
like that. I just like
And
that English.
So
They have a fleet.
I've never done a Metallica show, but I've built countless Megadeth stages. I've built Slipknot stages, and I've built Motley Crue stages, and I've built stages for Kiss and Marilyn Manson.
Kiss, I bet's another one that has.
And I'll tell you right now, Kelly Clarkson, Ariana Grande, and Trans-Siberian Orchestra blow all of them out the water as far as fleets go. Nothing. Metal and rapping got shit on a country act. Blake
Country
Shelton will
is huge.
blow your brains out. I'm keeping it real. Kiss ain't got shit on Kelly
Really?
Clarkson. What? An Ariana Grande, but they come in trucks and trucks and trucks.
What?
Well, I figured with the pyrotechnics, that would be like 20 trucks
It's
for
all
Kiss alone.
video wall. It's all robots and video wall. Dude, who was it? I think Motley Crue was up there too, but like, yeah, man, like Kiss didn't have nothing on Blake Shelton.
Huh.
Yeah, that was nothing. They blew him out the water, dude.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, My One Direction or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, One
That-
Direction?
That shit splatters.
Yeah.
I mean, it splatters rock and roll.
Well, that's like a boy band, so I believe that.
Pop
Okay.
music.
The Ariana Grande stuff too. I mean, you couldn't move in there. I mean,
That
it was
doesn't
all.
surprise me. Ariana Grande is very...
Right. The pop artist thing, yeah, that doesn't surprise
That doesn't
me.
surprise you.
Although now that I think about it,
the country stuff is right up there with it, brother.
I'm sure each guitar gets its own tour
Okay,
bus.
well let me explain. Let's keep it a bean. Who's the biggest artist in the world right now?
Jelly Roll.
Who else? My girl.
Brittany?
Nope, I'm telling you right now, boy, she's got the most plays right now.
Taylor!
Taylor!
Taylor Swift?
Nobody beats Taylor Swift.
Now that's
She's
a
the
fleet.
biggest-
That's a fleet.
She has the most streamed music on planet Earth.
I believe it.
And her Eras tour, fleet, I believe.
Bro, it's
Her stage is
unbelievable.
crazy.
It's unbelievable. The amount of catering. Like, we'll never spend an amount of the years of our lives. Me and you won't spend in guitar strings with the Zac Brown band spends in carrot sticks. For the green room that they fart all over. Like, it's nothing, bro.
They fart on the carrot sticks?
I never seen him do that. I can't verify that. That's crazy, right?
I mean, personally, my favorite vegetable to fart on is celery. But yeah, I can see carrots.
Oh my god.
Yo, what the fuck?
What just happened?
We're farting on vegetables. Giving us a break. There's been weirder shit going on. Trust me. All right. So somebody asked me,
Too easy.
why don't? It said because we're always looking for feedback. And I was telling people, gosh, you know, we're at that stage in our lives where we're a little band, okay? But we're trying to be a medium-sized band. But we're too big for our backyard britches. And we're too big for the backyard, but we're too small for the big room. You know what I mean? We're too little for a tiny bar.
Mm.
I mean, we're too big for a tiny bar, and much too small for a big old theater.
Mm.
You're like right in the middle.
Yeah. So, people are always giving me tips, and no pun intended. Somebody had said to me, what about band jar?
Band jar?
Oh.
Now, I want you to look at their faces, everybody, at home. You see? Did you see how Zach said... Now, Zach's been in other bands. We've never brought up band jar, ever. Ever. Okay? Never. Zach's been in the band for a fucking year. We've never said the fucking words band and jar. Okay? And if you're in a band right now and you do band jar, you might want to leave the room. And not talk to your bandmates for a while. We don't do band jar in Sepsiss. Band jar is one of the most toxic. Mm-hmm. If you want to plant a seed to destroy your entire band, do band jar.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the inevitable way to make shit go wrong.
Just became a supporter.
Hell yeah!
Facebook subscriber.
No, that's the real deal.
Yeah.
That's the real... Zach would have stood up and he would have pulled out like 18
I was going to
chords.
say, I'm like in a mind trap here, but I'm standing
And
in
the
spirit.
other thing is, like, she's short enough where if she stands, they see her. If I stand, they serve me. All right. So, I want to talk about this Road to the Swarm thing after this band jar thing. Don't do band jar because it starts fights.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon wants to know where you get tickets for the January 13th show.
I'm glad you
We
asked.
have a card.
But that's not a ticket.
That's a
But
coupon.
that's a coupon for the ticket thing.
You gonna read it? Here, have some.
Okay. So I'm trying to see if there's information.
No, see, these I think are the greatest thing in the world. These are rock and roll coupons.
Coupon.
Yeah, so this is a coupon. We have coupons. And if you present this coupon, you get...
Present it.
Present. With this pass, $5 over 21, $10 under 21.
That's not answering this question at all.
I'm trying to figure
That's
out...
alright, I'm gonna smoke weed.
Yeah, what kind of coach talk is that?
It doesn't say anything about... I would assume the website, which is toadsplace.com.
I would probably look at I would certainly look at the venue.
Yeah, I think the venue has, like, when you scroll to the show, it has the link to the tickets.
So I'm gonna. This is what I would do. I would meet up with Sepsiss day of. Okay. And I would get one of these, and I go through the door. Because if you have one of those and you go through the door, you're gonna save the bread.
It's true.
Boom.
You know what I mean? That's what I would do.
That's what
I know
I
that
would do.
seems
Absolutely.
really common sense for today, but we have common sense friends at home. I just feel like that's going to work out for them.
Yeah. Or you could go to the toadsplace.com.
Yeah, or go to Toad's Place, their website, remember like telling people to go to websites years ago seemed like it was challenging and difficult for people, and then all of a sudden it is again.
Right.
It's not only challenging for that, but it's also challenging for people to actually have one.
Like, remember, I was just about to say, people are like, oh my God, you got a website? I'd love to check it out. Now it's like, you got a website? I'd love to avoid that. You know what I mean?
When I asked if you were on the internet, I meant Facebook.
Right.
Not your website.
We'll cover that at some point.
I have to go to another URL? Ew.
It's like, yes.
Gio found it. Thank you, Gio.
And plus, it's like you're on the internet all day anyway.
Right. I have to get out of the Facebook app.
Yeah.
Right, the same way you do when you look at balls. You have to leave social media to go look at people's balls.
Yeah, you have to go to the Dick's Sporting Goods website.
I love this conversation.
That's great. Did you guys put a 1 in the chat if you watched the last episode of Road to the Swarm?
I actually watched it a couple times. I'm gonna
Did
put
you?
up 2
Good
fingers.
for you. You know what? Really, I feel like it's... Road to the Swarm is not really a documentary. It's an actual... You remember, like, in high school when you went to go fill out an application at, like, Wendy's or Burger King or McDonald's, they sat you down for 4 hours of VHS excitement.
Oh my God.
This is Road to the Swarm. It's a way to get in and get kicked out of the band. I swear to God. If you just wanted to be staff here, watch Road to the Swarm. If you wanted to work here, watch Road to the Swarm. Watch Road to the Swarm. You're gonna learn everything.
Nerd.
Definitely. Definitely how to talk. This is a podcast, right?
You have a nice list.
It's been a long day. So, I do want to say though, I'm super happy to have completed the challenge of Road to the Swarm. Like the entire thing was like making a fucking movie. Making a movie about my band was hard.
Oh yeah, that was.
If anybody ever wants to try doing that, do it. That is so hard. And I don't mean it's hard to cut video and chase your friends around with cameras. Nah, that was the easy part. The hard part was like being real. Being emotional. Like me being emotional in front of people that I've never met before. Me having to tell the truth and be insecure, shed my skin.
Be vulnerable.
Be vulnerable in front of everybody and put myself in that position every week was difficult. I ain't gonna, like, that was one of the more difficult things that I've had to complete in this band. Because it meant me admitting a lot about me not being good at shit. Like, regardless. Like, no matter if there were 20 people that didn't want to accept responsibility for where they were, I still had to. If everybody in the entire band wanted to pretend like they didn't have nothing to do with every failure or success. It's interesting. When you're succeeding, people are always like, I'm involved. You know? When you're winning awards or things are going right, people are like cheering and they're quick to show you, take pictures with you, you know? But when shit hits the fan, people don't remember who you helped. People don't remember the charities. People don't remember the generosity. People find that one time you slipped on a banana peel, or they find that one rumor, or they find that one thing to bite into, and they bite in and they won't let go. And it's like, but this girl's known for so many other great things. Why are we choosing to hyper-focus on this dark cloud? But shout out to everybody that has been with Sepsiss, not only through the awards and you know, making music and record labels and good times, but shout out to everybody that had my back, and shout out to the people that had my back and supported me and inboxed me and talked to me personally and encouraged me and met with me. A lot of friends met with me and pushed me and encouraged me to walk through that. So I appreciate that from all of you, especially my personal friends, and a lot of my friends that I was growing up with had come to me in that time and really encouraged me to walk forward in making that doc series. And I think that it was necessary administratively. I think it was necessary for like new people coming in, and I think it's also for people who are really authentic fans of Sepsiss. I think that's for them. You know, for people who just kind of want to like hang out with us on the podcast and shoot the shit with us. I'm never upset to see that there aren't tons and tons of views on Road to the Swarm, because I know that the people that are watching it, you know, the thousands of people that are watching it, you know, if it says 1,500, I know those 1,500 people are like plugged in. So I appreciate y'all for that. I did want to explain, you know, why so military, why we're so tough during the entire thing. And that's just because we're familiar that the honeymoon period in rock and roll is rather long, and that Road to the Swarm isn't a celebration of people joining a band so much as it is people being able to start off on a clean slate. You know, so Road to the Swarm led into day one, and we're closer to day one than we were at meeting these guys. You know what I mean? So that's why. I'm not a huge fan of everybody that's in the band yet, and I don't want that to be taken the wrong way. It's almost like when people catch Lexi screaming, you know, they'll say whether she's good or she's bad or not. I don't really think that's the conversation. It can be if you don't know the band. I don't expect anything different. But if you know the band, you know that that's our merch girl. She's not a screamer. She's not a... You see what I'm saying? So it's not about whether she's good or she's bad. It's about people who are really our fans, people who are authentically fans of Sepsiss. No.
It doesn't say. But the video is up.
Are we just standing
That's
there?
weird because it said it reconnected, so I'm gonna double check.
I'm gonna smoke weed. It says manage your mobile chat. It's still going. Is it connected somewhere? Put a 1 in the chat if we're still live. That's something different.
Looks like we're still live.
That has never happened before.
It's still working on
Yeah.
mine.
Hold on, let's blow some
Yeah,
smoke.
it's working on mine. I just did a little hand wave to see if we're still alive or if this is...
I see it too.
Yeah, everyone's saying all good.
What
I
the
know,
fuck
must
was
have been a little
that?
Blip. I don't know what happened.
Well, you know what they
Chad
say.
said good now, 1. So I guess it wasn't good prior.
It might have. Maybe we
I
hit.
woke up to bet you're up.
Yeah, maybe we hit like an internet spike or something. That mean that.
That was weird.
Okay, thank you guys for,
No, now that we don't know
for
what the fuck we're
helping
talking about.
us.
Right? Hey, you know what they say. The show
Chat.
must go wrong.
So no, I just wanted to say that. I know like some folks might expect me and Melissa to be jumping for joy and to be really excited, and we are. We're super excited to have Zach and Hot Sauce and Rob. We're super excited to start off our work with them. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're sitting on that side of the camera, you might be saying, you guys have achieved so much, and you know, congratulations, and why don't you guys go home and relax and have a tea or something, you know. But this is, Zach doesn't like tea, and we don't like to celebrate for long, like, so I'm not a massive fan of this band yet.
No, we still got a lot of work to do.
Right, because and that's not bad news. If I say that, someone might get the wrong impression that I think that there's bad news with the band or something. No, it's just we are in the very first steps of trying to accomplish what we want to. We are now in the very first steps with the people that are eligible and that have made it through the threshold of requirements, that we can now move forward and pursue professional activities with the band. I hope that makes sense to everybody. You know, we haven't traveled anywhere yet. We haven't recorded together. Like, when you think, what is the anatomy of a band, and what does everybody do in the band? Do they just play guitar? Do they just podcast? Do they just do hair? Do they just... Look, think and imagine. Use your imagination of all the different things that we may bring to the table as soon as the cameras go off. So just being a band isn't always just playing bass, you know? And sometimes that takes, you got to know how to travel. Mm-hmm. You got to know how to be around each other. Sometimes you got to learn some special skills like podcasting or crocheting or whatever have you.
Plus, I mean, even if you come to the band with experience, like I did touring before, doesn't mean I've toured with you guys, you know? Every band operates in a different way, so just because you have experience doesn't necessarily mean, you know, it's going to be a right fit right from the start. You know, you still got to, you know, go through all the checks. True,
because like Burger King, like they make fries. And so does Wendy's, and so does Checkers, and but everybody kind of
makes them different.
Yeah, everybody, and you know, everybody likes fries too. They're great. There's no wrong French fry. You know what I mean? It's just different flavors and seasoning.
For sure.
This band has a lot of seasoning. All right, so we're going to talk about Spotify.
The moment you've all been waiting for.
And I'm not going to talk about it for long. I'm just going to talk about it a little bit.
Just a tad?
Just a little sprinkle of...
Yes, because everybody's talking about it. Because you know it's the Spotify Wrapped. It's the Spotify Wrapped.
You know, I didn't get one this year because I left Spotify.
I ain't even name on them. I know a lot of people that are leaving. Big artists are leaving and small artists are leaving. When I talk about Spotify, I think people imagine that I want them to leave Spotify. I don't care if you do or don't. Sepsiss is on Spotify, and a lot of our fans choose to listen to us on Spotify. I'm not saying don't. I don't put Sepsiss on Spotify. I don't ever... If all of a sudden the Spotify monster called me up and said, "Rawr, you're not on Spotify anymore," I would move on with my life. So I don't request to be there. It just happens to be within the number of boxes that we can check when we just distribute music. Like every other independent artist, we're no one special. We just check the boxes. So a lot of people might be aware of this Spotify Wrapped thing. It's not just a thing that bands do. I mean, apparently, even people, consumers do it. Did you know that?
Well, it makes you feel special, especially when you're told, like, oh, you're in this artist's top 1%. You're rewarded.
With what?
So
a little graph that says you are in the 1%.
Well, a good friend of mine has said, "Will, how do we even know what they put in those images is real or accurate?" And we don't.
We don't. No.
And I'm not going to tear into conspiracy theories. I just want to say we just don't, though. The truth is we don't know if what they're saying. We have no
clue.
I mean, so I want to talk about, because people will always say things like, "Well, everything is about numbers now," and I'll disagree with them. I don't make music for numbers. I don't play any music for any type of number. Not for USD, not for tokens, not for crypto, not for Spotify, not for Chuck E. fucking Cheese. I don't play for tokens. I don't play music like the Native Americans and Aborigines and shit. They weren't like jumping around doing rain dances for tokens and shit. They weren't doing thunder dances and stomping around hoping the Rhapsody and the Napster gods were gonna bless them with royalties. They weren't hoping to be on billboards. They weren't trying to be popular outside the River Nile. I mean, people who lived along the River Nile didn't give a fuck about what's happening if it wasn't near the River Nile. Only this modern day time do we care about shit that we can't see.
It's crazy.
Mm.
It's crazy how we live like this.
But to congratulate you each year for something that you didn't achieve feels funny. Like Spotify congratulates these bands as if they've achieved something. That's the problem that I have. It's murky. Everyone knows to get a lot of plays on Spotify that you have to be on playlists. Let me break that down for you. By definition, it means that people do not search and seek out you, your genre, your kind of music. In fact, like when you look at Sepsiss on Spotify, we're not even shown with other New England bands. So what algorithm or what catalog do we fit into? So if you're not literally searching exactly for the band that you want, Spotify is not going to recommend you to anyone. It'll say listeners always also like, or they will recommend an artist or a playlist to you. But it's not like you can go on Spotify and search Boston rock. You're not going to find any. I mean, you can't even go on Google and search up independent Boston rock and roll.
That's not.
You can't. It's not searchable. We live in a time where artists will sit around and tell you, sit around a table and try to convince you. We live in a time where consumers, musicians, and artists alike will all try to convince each other that we live in a time of all access.
No, we don't.
They'll say, no time like the present has it been more available for you to get your music out.
It sounds like an advertising scheme.
But I hear this a lot. And that's a conversation for an entirely different podcast. We can unpack that, whether now versus before. Like when are we going to measure from the 50s? I don't because if we measured Spotify, and we said let's compare Spotify to jukeboxes, it would be similar.
Yeah, there's still human supervisors that
right,
are
there's still
dictating.
Gatekeeper fucking radio programmers and gatekeeper corporations that tell you your music sucks after they review it on their cell phones. All right. Let's talk about some other numbers that lie. Because people will say to me all the time, come on, man. There's never been a time like now when artists can get out to people. There's never been a time when Aunt Nancy can run her mouth in a social media comment box. Real freedom. But do the numbers lie? Yes, they do. Numbers have always lied. In fact, symbolism lies. Images lie. Why people say that the numbers don't lie? Let's talk about what a number is. A number is only a symbol that represents an idea. The number, the symbol of the number itself, doesn't actually mean anything. In fact, I could say that this really means 4. And if we all agreed on it, this would now be the symbol for 4. So numbers lie all the time. It's math that doesn't lie.
Data.
But, you see, math is a different kind of image. Okay? Numbers are a man-made image. See, math was here before people. The universe made it up. That's an image The sphere, that's mathematical. Gravity, that's mathematical. Radiation, that's math. That was here before me and you. You know what wasn't here? The symbol 3. Alpha, Omega. Those are man-made concepts. And we all have to agree on them for them to be real. So they, in fact, are your fucking imagination. And we can change them at any time.
Yeah.
Same with Spotify numbers.
Yeah.
Same with the images on the internet. Same with the images in Hollywood. Images, man-made images, can be changed. I grew up in courtrooms. Eyewitnesses are very rarely used to close a case. Because they know that what people think they saw, what people think they witnessed, the images that people think that they're seeing change based on the way that they feel.
Yep.
So what feels like 5 sometimes feels like 10. That's why if you ever seen somebody that's mugged, they say, "Oh my God, it feels like there was 10 of them. Feels like I was dying."
When I was in high school in forensics class, the first thing that we were told was cops always separate everybody because when you get a group of people, you might have seen somebody with a blue shirt, but Lexi could have said, "Oh, he's got a red shirt." Next thing you know, you're thinking, "Whoa, red," and then next thing you know, your story changes.
Right. And let me tell you something. When you think you're gonna die, you're terrified. You see all types of shit. You know, people don't see right after a couple of pints of beer. What you see changes. You take a hit of acid. Oh shit! You take a nap, and you start seeing all kinds of shit happen in your life. You swear to God was real. That's called a dream.
Yep. If you look in the mirror for 10 minutes, you will start to hallucinate.
Yo, that's crazy, because he's right. That's the craziest phenomenon. Anybody that wants... And the only reason why I know this is because I've been in many cells where all you had was a mirror.
Yep.
And you start popping.
Sometimes when I get really baked, I'll stare in front of a mirror for a while, because I get
Put a
lost.
1 in the chat if you want to see Zach stare in the mirror.
I don't even like...
Yeah,
staring in a mirror? I never knew that.
We'll load him up on trees and make him stare at himself.
I never knew they could just hallucinate.
We'll do it after this.
Staring in a mirror. What do you see? It's like crazy.
Do you want to know?
Like a bad trip.
You start to see biology and all types of shit. Yeah. You start to see the world. You start to, it's weird.
Just staring at a mirror?
Yeah, man. You start to see the jungle, mountaintops, rivers.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, I'm not even lying to you. You start to see shapes of the world, bro.
I've seen like little TV static type shit come over my face.
RGB and shit. Yeah, geometric shapes.
Yeah.
You just never tried it.
Yeah.
I've never done this, so I'm asking. Like, this is new to me.
So the numbers lie because your eyes lie. You guys, not to be weird, but like we're the only creature that thinks that we're superior to other creatures. Like we think we breathe better and hear better and shit. Even though we know that dogs can pick up the scent of other things. You know what I mean? We know they got bomb dogs, and we know that like, you know, I don't know if like sharks really like smell for miles like that, but they do better than we do. You know what I mean? Like a hawk can see his prey in the sky. You can't see your prey in the refrigerator.
I was gonna say, you point a gun at a tiger, it's not gonna know like what the hell you're holding. It's
what
still gonna.
Right, what caliber is that?
Right, it's just gonna take you out.
Right,
unless you shoot.
Right.
Make sure you don't miss.
But like, so we pretend that we see and hear and live better than other creatures. It's just we don't even live longer than other creatures. No. But somehow,
a freaking tortoise lives over 100.
Somehow we believe that when we see 3 better than other living organisms. When we breathe. When we have H2O, it's somehow better for us than it is other biodiversity.
No. Smart water. Well, if anything, our water is dumber because we paid for it. I think we're the only creature on planet Earth that pays for water.
Yeah.
We're about to pay more than we ever have. So the numbers lie. Let's talk about some other lies in terms of numbers. Your birthday. It's a lie. I mean, it's a lie scientifically, because your cells are recreated and regenerate over time during the entire course of your life. I mean, you literally don't even look the same as you used to.
Some develop faster than others too.
Right. So you don't have the same, the numbers and the chemistry in your body are not same as they were when you were a baby. The biodiversity and the bacteria and the different things that you come in contact in the environment is now part of you. And therefore, that chemistry is changing until you reach equilibrium, which is death. A natural occurrence. But the numbers are always lying. And they're always changing because the universe is expanding. I think when people say the numbers don't lie, I think they mean that 3 stays 3. But it doesn't. Think how many times different symbols have been used. Swastikas, crosses, hexagons.
It's really all just an illusion.
But think of how many different times we've seen them in different places of the world on different walls, used for different things. Think of how many different stories there is of the flood. How many different Jesuses there are. How many different stories there are of the ark. So, Social Security. Your Social Security number.
It's just a made up.
It's a customer service number.
Yeah.
It's not you. We've already agreed that those numbers are symbols. So are you that? They represent you. To who?
Well, even still, that can lie. If I find out your Social Security number, I can go and pretend to be you.
That's crazy. And I wasn't born my name. They changed it. Things are the same, guys, until they change, okay? If we really have the nerve to share the success of our Spotify music and streams, then why not share the last live performance from last weekend's show? Why wait a whole year? I mean, if the purpose is, if we can all agree that we're on social media to get attention, to what? Because we're hoping that people listen to our music. To what? So then they go and listen, discover the rest of the catalog and become a fan. To then what? To then buy a ticket someday. To then what? To show up at the show and connect with the artist. So, if we really have the nerve to share our success and the reason that we're making music and on Spotify or social media in the first place, and the whole goal is to get people downstage before we start our performances, if the main goal is to sell tickets to the show to prove that what you do in social media, that what you claim to do on Spotify, on your record, is something you actually do physically and you're going to share it with people in real life. Isn't the goal of a musician, is the goal to be on a recording that mimics what you do live? Is that the goal? Is the goal to take a snapshot of what you did live, blemish-free? You made this blemish-free business card. What was the purpose of making that business card? What was the purpose of making the music video? What was the purpose? So people could sit home and watch music videos? All right, then you've accomplished that. To build your social media, then you've made it. You're making it. You're in the music industry. But I don't know about you guys. I play guitar so I get on stage.
Boom.
The reason why I'm on social media, the reason why I wouldn't record a damn thing. What the recording? Why make a recording? Think about artists before recording. Why were they recording? So they could convince people to get on stage. Why did people want to be on the radio or jukeboxes? So people could hear their music in bars and in clubs, request them on radio, so they eventually could go to a show and prove that what people were experiencing on radio and online and on TV, they really did. So, if we really have the nerve to share the success each year, and Spotify rolls out this yearly Wrapped where it shows off an image of our music, where it shows off an image of what our streams are supposed to be. Spotify shows the image of these streams, then why not share the image of you playing the last show you went to last week? Why don't bands, why not just skip Spotify? Do what you gotta do. But if you're going to share Spotify's image of who you're supposed to be, then, and it's all for the purpose for you to be on stage to prove that you play music so you can get fans and acquire them. What's the purpose of opening up for people? So you can convert and convince and acquire someone else's fans. Why are you on Spotify? So you can convince and convert their subscription base and convert them into your fans. Why would you do that? Why do you want to convert Metallica's fans into yours? Why do you want to go on the radio, on a popular radio station? Because their fans are there. If I said you want to go to a radio station with 0 listeners, you would say, man, that doesn't sound like a good business move. No, for real. If I was your manager and I said, look, I got the 10 of the coolest radio station that you can play on. There's nobody that listens to them, but they got great listening quality. They got great gear. Huh? They got great broadcasting ability, but nobody listens to them. Why do people go to big festivals? Because the claim is, if you're a no-name band, you can go there and piggyback exposure. Why would you want exposure? Why would you want to go through the painstaking task of converting Slipknot fans into your shitty music? That seems so difficult. It almost seems easier just to get people to like your own music. It almost seems easier to convince people to like your original music rather than to go across country. Because let's face it, for a fraction of what it would cost for me to go across country and show you my song, I could do right here on the cell phone. Mm-hmm. So why do bands do that? Because, and it makes common sense, we want to play our music on stage, and we want to play it in front of real people.
Yep.
So if we can agree that as musicians, we do Spotify, we do podcasting, we pass out flyers, we go to other people's shows, we do all this stuff we do as being bands. We follow people online, we share, we participate in groups, all the charity, all the participation, the community stuff, everything collectively, acquisitionally added up. Why are musicians doing this? Why are we making friends? Why are we networking? Why do we contact and make friends with other bands? And why do we have managers? Why? Because hopefully some of you have come down to the common denominator that you want to play music on stage with the hope of acquiring fans that can relate to your self-expression in your art. It's for people, however you acquire these fans, be it through Slipknot, be it through Spotify or Sepsiss or Facebook, that you're lucky enough, that you are opportunistic enough to take advantage of whatever circumstance or moment that you've been given with the hopes that you are going to acquisition and acquire fans that can relate to your music. You don't open up for Metallica hoping they just stay a fan of Metallica and kind of blow you off. That's not why you're doing it. Why do people pay to get played at snack time on Sunday on Sirius XM? Great bands. Bands I really love that have, to me, are embarrassed themselves. Bands that go out and pay top dollar to play on Sirius XM radio, and they beg for rotation, and they beg for votes, and they grovel, and they fall and roll on the fucking ground. People who fight to the death, roll over and crush another band, roll them over to get a spot at Blue Ridge, snitch and stab their mother in the back to get a spot on Louder in Life. Why? All with the hope that they'll have the opportunity to acquire fans of their own self-expression. Yes or no? Are you literally on? Are you making music to be on Spotify? Because that's not an achievement.
No.
So when Spotify drops this bullshit-ass advertisement at the end of the year, why do people think that that's an achievement? There's no requirement for anybody to be on Spotify. Anybody, you could fart on a microphone and be on Spotify. So why? What's the celebration? And I digress. The numbers do lie. If we really have the nerve to share success of Spotify, if we need Spotify to share our music, we need the permission. Because all week before the Spotify shit came out, every year I laugh at these guys. Every year I laugh at these artists. They wait all year for Spotify to give them permission to share their music. You're on social media. You've already filled out all the emails and Gmails and Snapchats and tweets and pop. You're on every single social site. And your biggest claim to me when we sit around the table is how much exposure we have. There's never been a time like the present when we have all this access and all this tools. But yet, still, if you're an independent rocker, it's embarrassing to advertise yourself unless you're fucking Slipknot, unless you're an A-lister, unless you're Spirit Box. You should not be advertising yourself in the independent rock and metal scene.
Unless it's Spotify on rap.
Yep, unless Spotify says that you're allowed to do it.
I can't live like that.
People,
my life does not deserve.
If I tell somebody in an independent rock and roll band, hey man, you should just be promoting yourself and advertising yourself, they'll give me every reason why it's uncool, why it's a poser move, why social media is for nerds and real metalheads don't do stuff like that, and real gangsters and all this other stuff.
Are they acting like because they're an artist on Spotify and have music there that they work for Spotify?
No, they act like people should just go to Spotify and discover them. Just like Kiss. Artists think, unfortunately, that because we play guitar, that there are companies, there are corporations that take you on tour. Like, people think that, like, there's companies that... Seriously. People believe that once you get to the level of Disturbed, that there are venues, that are just waiting to book you. People think that once you get, once you're Korn, that like somewhere there's a tractor trailer company that has free tractor trailers for Korn to put their gear in. And all and their truss and lights, all of that's free. People think that if they play guitar and piano and sing good enough, that people cook them free dinner and shit. I've been trying to explain this to people. That there's free advertising features. That somehow if you're Jelly Roll, there's like there's free promotional advertising through your label. I'm telling you, they believe this shit. They believe if they play really... People think that if they play really good guitar and they play a Fender, that Fender's going to call them on the phone and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I have to talk guys down on this shit every day, brother. Every day. Guys got a gun to their head in despair going, I'm 40 years old. Why can't I make it in rock music? Oh. I'm like, bro, you're making it, bro. What do you want? To be on cassette?
I want to be a cassette. Just
make a cassette. Just make a cassette. We live in the time now, right? A minute ago, everybody was convinced me we live in a time now. We can just do anything. But the truth is, guys, like even if you have a lemonade stand, it's only going to get big enough to where they to where there's shareholders and it becomes corporate, okay? And they break apart and fragment the business. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. A company, Sepsiss, Metallica, can only get so big before you have to have the right people in there to prevent it from fragmenting. It's a sweet recipe. If we can all agree that showing off Spotify numbers at the end of the year is to boast and advertise an image of success, then why aren't we willing to advertise our image and success and actually playing music? Here you have social media, you make music, you've written a song, and you can play it in front of millions of people. In fact, you can play a song on social media and get more streams or plays than you ever would on Spotify. I've gotten paid for bleed lines. We have hundreds of thousands of million plays on bleed lines on social media, and we get paid for it. Spotify doesn't do that. So why would I need to write a song, go to Spotify, have them make an image of who I'm supposed to be, wait a year, and then put that on social media? Why don't I just
do it yourself?
Why don't I just make music and upload it?
That must be much more better.
What? No, hold on.
That'd be less
We've got
stressful.
shows. Bands have shows all year. Why not just record a show and put it up and get plays? Why bitch about what Spotify plays? You don't have to take anything down. Why even bitch about it? Why talk about it? The point is, why aren't you showing off your numbers that are on Facebook? Why show off Spotify numbers on Facebook? Why not just make a song, put it on Facebook, and show off Facebook numbers?
That'd be
Do you get what I'm fucking saying?
You'll see a whole lot more revenue doing it that way.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. Upload your stuff on Instagram, do well on Instagram, celebrate on Instagram. Upload your stuff on Spotify, do well on Spotify, show all your friends on Spotify. Why take a picture that Spotify generated? Why take an image that a computer generated with a bunch of images and a story that was not generated by you or your band? Why take an image and a story that's generated by a backstabbing company and then wait all year to then pollute your social media with it? Spotify manufactures tools and features on their app that openly promotes and encourage the manipulation of stream metrics and fucking cheating. Spotify promotes tools and pay-to-play features that encourage artists to boost the numbers that can be manipulated and lied about later on social media. That's why artists don't boast their iTunes numbers. Each year, Spotify encourages artists with their annual manufactured attractive self-advertising tool that artists can boast Spotify itself and celebrate these simulated achievements, while Spotify rewards the best and most popular cheaters for playing the game.
It's like free advertising for them.
It's a growth hack
Yeah.
for the app.
Yeah, so
It's just getting goofballs on social media. Same thing they do with Blue Ridge. The same thing they do with the big festivals. They go, everybody share out this festival. So everybody promotes for free.
That's what I'm talking about.
Artists that wouldn't promote themselves otherwise, they have convinced that they're only allowed to promote through these big names.
Yeah.
Because artists are taught that you're not really a musician until you go to Blue Ridge. You're not really a musician until you're on Spotify. They've been taught. Mm-hmm. They've been convinced out of their own fucking birthright.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that like the Spotify chart that they put out is like the musician equivalent of lying on your resume.
was a double standing O.
Why won't artists share their yearly numbers from iTunes or Napster? Why, if we can all sit around the table and agree that we make music and we were convinced to put it on recordings because at some point or another, before music was ever recorded, it was only on stage. Remember? Most of us weren't born, but you know what I'm talking about. At one point, there was no stage. All they had was people in the woods yelling and screaming about shit. All right? It was,
Or sitting around the campfire.
right, whatever. You know what I mean? And we had wars, and they tapped their drums, and they blew their horns, they did whatever they had to do. But what I'm saying is later on, Roman Coliseum, and there were amphitheaters, and there were different things like that. Of course, then the traditional Western theater and orchestras, symphonies, big band, jazz, modern day music. When we start to get to radio and recordings, okay, something changed in music. We had devices that could mimic what we do on stage. At that point, humanity had to be convinced that having unreal music was valuable. It's synthetic.
And that's why they don't post their live music. Because they can't play it.
That was harsh.
Or not like they can't play it, but...
No, but that some of that's true.
Right.
Because we live in a perfect modern environment where we've been taught by computers and Spotify that music needs to be 3 this, and music needs to be 4 lufs, and music needs to be 0 dB, and we've been taught that there's this perfect recipe to chicken. Everyone's fucking terrified that if they don't make fried chicken like this, Spotify's gonna kick them out the kitchen. So people don't make music. Spotify makes music for people. And they make their image. And they make their promo for it at the end of the year. Why not? I mean, I think we've got maybe a couple thousand plays on Bleed Lines on Spotify. We've got millions everywhere else. And we get paid for it.
And you're not shadow banned.
And we're not shadow banned for it. We put our music on Facebook, and we get paid for the music on Facebook. We get paid every single month. Triple, quadruple. I mean,
Right.
So I wouldn't go through Spotify to upload music to get paid for it and give Spotify some of it. Why would I do that? It's not even about paying for me so much as it is.
You just want to get your music
I
out.
want to get my music out there. I don't want to go through Spotify to then have to put my music up on social media. I don't need to ask Spotify to talk about my music on social media. They've only convinced you of that.
They ain't convincing everybody
Right. Independent artists are terrified to advertise for themselves because of each other, because they pick on each other.
But it's okay when they do it for their Spotify Unwrapped.
Right. It's okay to cancel an independent show because a professional headliner came into town. Come on, we know how these guys get.
Ridiculous.
We know how it is.
Ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
We're gonna have to talk about that someday. But the whole thing of bands booking shows locally or regionally at the beginning of the year. You guys know who I'm talking about. You guys book shows early in the year when nobody's offering you anything, when there's no celebrities are out, when no big festivals are offering you anything. You start to get antsy because no one's your friend anymore. No one's picked up the phone. You start biting off your fingernails thinking your band's not going to get booked. So you start booking with your buddies, people that you love, people that you trust, people that'll give you a shot. People that otherwise would book the show without you. But whatever. They live with you. They're your neighbors. They book you for the show. You jump on the gig. Then all of a sudden, months go by. Trapped comes into town. Or one of these fucking B-list bands that you guys all line up for the door for. You guys do it every year. Dying B-list bands come into New England. You guys all line up to sell their tickets for them. And then you fucking cancel a local show, or you cancel your buddy's regional show, and when you do, you use the excuse, oh, it's because there's a headliner in town, or there's a national. There's a national in town. Like as if they could play fucking guitar better than you or something. So what? He plays drums, so do you. So fucking what?
Play your show.
Play a show, man. Don't book shows you don't intend on playing. You know what I'm saying? If 3 doors down from a puddle of fucking Nickel Creed shows up, stick with the show that you booked. It's professional. Or here's another thing. Make a phone call.
Yeah.
Make a phone call. Get in touch with people. Be professional and reach out before it gets to the deadline. Try to contact a band that maybe take your place. You know, when you leave the show, most of you guys don't bring any fucking draw anyway, but when you leave the show, sometimes you leave with the 3 people that you brought with you. It's a dickhead move. Why won't artists share their yearly numbers from iTunes or Napster? That's because iTunes and YouTube, they don't make it easy for artists to buy products and manipulate streaming numbers.
That's why.
That's why.
You can't manipulate your numbers on iTunes. Can't do it.
To simplify, there isn't anything to show off. Huh?
Truth hurts sometimes.
It is what it is.
Well,
And I'm going to tell you why being a fucking phony is weak. Why is lying about streams phony? Why is lying about and then boasting your Spotify streams, why is it weak? It's because it's phony.
Mm-hmm.
Think if I gave you a fake meal. Think if I gave you some fake nutrition. You know, when you read the back of the box, think if it was fake nutrition. You'd fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
Who likes fake pussy? Not compared to the real thing.
Like, I was gonna say, like, do you mean like the fleshlights or what?
You know what I mean?
What degree we talking?
Not compared to the real thing.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Compare anything to the real thing. Who wants like fake, like, I'm a big meat eater. You like fake beef? Fake chicken?
Mm-mm.
You like,
Yeah.
I hate fake chicken. Fake chicken.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Fake lobster meat.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, there's another one. Okay. Okay.
Although
But
I do
seriously,
like imitation crab.
Seriously, you go out and buy a painting at the beach. You gonna feel all right if it winds up being a fake painting?
No.
How about a fake relationship?
No. Absolutely not.
How
Nope.
about a fake religious experience or a
Ugh.
fake spiritual experience? Let me put it that way. There's no value in it.
No. That's so distasteful.
Even people
and
that believe
cringy.
it's real need to believe it's real, dude. People that are having a spiritual situation, they need to believe that it's real. How about a fake marriage? So why the fuck do we do fake music? Why do we? If we don't want fake food, we don't want fake love. How about fake? You guys want fake friends? How about you guys at home? You guys want fake friends?
No.
Nobody wants fake friends. And we also don't want fake music. And we don't want fake Spotify numbers. Because being fake is weak. So, to simplify, why don't people show off their iTunes numbers? It's because they can't be faked. Why don't people show off YouTube numbers? Because they're harder to fake. Mm-hmm. Being fake and showing off fake streams each year, showing off another company's image of what your band is supposed to be, means you have relinquished your birthright to create that image yourself. by allowing social media or Spotify or your label or record label to take advantage of you and create an image of you, to create an image of you and then give you permission to do it, is weak. And it's phony. Boasting fake streams and advertising this corrupt company encourages people to act phony. And it encourages them to defend phony behavior. And it encourages people to defend phony products. If I gave you a fake chair and you sat down it and broke your fucking neck, you'd be pissed. If I gave you a fake baby seat and put your child in it, you'd call the police. If I told you that I would pay you fairly and then lied about it, you'd call the cops. Because it's a lie. It's phony. Lying about streams encourages people to act phony. And it encourages them to defend phony behavior. It encourages them to defend this phony behavior. And they become emotional and hateful and hurtful when they get called out for being a fucking phony. Phony baloney. Do you like fake nutrition? Do you want a fake God? Do you want a fake exercise? What do you get from fake exercise, Melissa? Well, music is an exercise for your brain and your spirit. When you get fake exercise, what do you get? When you get fake music is food for your spirit and your soul. What do you get when you get fake food and fake nutrition?
Nothing.
So when you boast and you brag about phony food and phony exercise, you get what you deserve. Anybody want to say anything about that?
I just think that if you're boosting about your fake numbers on Spotify, you'll be exposed when it's, you go to play your show and you think, oh, all these people listen to me. I must be, I'm showing everyone how popular I am with this fake Spotify thing. And then when you get to the show, you wonder, well, how come no one's here? Because you're not showing the real people the real numbers, or worse. You got that one person who sees that and is like, oh, I'm going to go see them. They must be a big thing. You get to the show and you're the only person there. You're going to be like, what the fuck? I got gypped.
If AI makes the drums and the computer plays the backtrack and Spotify makes the image, right? And social media makes the template and AI builds the... What of you is left? They're going to sell you back to you now.
Mm-hmm.
They're promoting burnout.
What is it?
It's promoting burnout.
What is that?
So it's when artists, like, they have all these many hats, right? So they're making music, or they're out on social media, they're investing in all these different things, all these different gadgets, and it's a trend. They have to do the trend, or it's gonna go in a week. And doing all this work, and even making adjustments on the
artists
music
feel
on
like
Spotify,
they're gonna die if they don't do this. They
they're
feel
gonna get
disloyal.
they're gonna get a burnout from doing it. So many artists all last year. I've been looking at
They're
them.
more
So
loyal
many-
to Spotify than they are their own art.
It's not even that. They're burning out because of this shit. They're literally talking about burning out.
Gotcha.
Creativity is getting shot because of this. It's getting harder for people to invest in themselves, update their gear. It's hard for people to feel excited about their craft because they have all these many hats. They have to go and they have to go pay for this. They have to go pay for that.
That's what I was saying about the creativity
It's creating a burnout of creativity.
If they're in charge of the image, and they're in charge of the website, and they're in charge of the distribution, and they're in charge of what left of you is in the art.
There's nothing left.
If AI makes the cover art now, AI does the cover art. The computers half the band shows up. The computers do the band now. It's all recorded on a computer. The computer tells you step by step how to make it.
There's nothing for them to do.
What left is there to do in the band?
Nothing.
Like, we drew our fucking logo, man, by hand. You know
No
what
one
I
does
mean?
that. No one does that.
We drew our fucking logo by hand. You know, you can tell
No one's done that.
the scrapes in it, you know?
No one's done that. You're the only band I know of that's done that.
Other bands do it. A lot of, like, death metal bands do it.
Some of them also do it on. Most
I know.
of them do it on
And I'm not, and I want to make it perfectly clear. I'm not saying don't share your Spotify numbers. I think that can get lost in the translation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you're more loyal to Spotify and you're paranoid about not sharing their numbers, then you definitely shouldn't share their numbers. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you're happy with what you're getting there each year and you want to utilize that tool to energize your fans, nothing I said tonight should prevent you from doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're using this tool to energize your fans, and even better, if you have organic streams, dude, and you're using this tool because your fans resonate with this, and this is a way that you can energize your fans, then anything I said tonight that doesn't even have anything to do with that type of artist. What I'm talking about is the artists that pay to be on playlists. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the artists that pay to be playlisted and then boast these numbers like people searched them out and discovered them, like people independently search for their band and pick them up. That's what I'm talking about. People that are manipulating and stealing stream revenue.
Well, also there's services that bands can pay for that just creates fake, like, streams and listens. So you can,
also...
Yeah, because, like, I mean, as far as Spotify's been around, I get messages, hey, for, like, $10, we'll bump your monthly listeners up to, you know...
Oh, they all know about them.
Yeah.
I mean... And if you are a dreamy, desperate dude, you're making a move on that because, you know...
Yeah, because you want to lie on your resume.
And I'm going to tell you why it's weak. Because it's mean to your fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's misleading. Because you're teaching and you're illustrating to your fans that you have been successful. And you have achieved, and you need their excitement. You want them to celebrate these achievements, you know, in hopes that they are going to continue to energize what they believe you're doing. But if you're not really doing that, then you're putting out an image of success. And that is dishonest. Because when they go to the shows... You know, a lot of these small bands like ours are boasting numbers well into the millions and the hundreds of thousands of plays and streams. But you know, like I do, we go to the shows and people aren't showing up.
They're not ticket goers.
The carpets aren't matching the drapes. Mm-hmm. So wherever you're getting your streams, even if they're legit, these people aren't your fans. A lot of times these images are promoted and they're advertised in a way not really to help the artist, only to help Spotify. Mm-hmm. And that's the insidious part that I'm targeting. Not really the dreamy, non-expecting artist. I'm not mad at him.
Right. It's
not his fault.
You're mad at Spotify.
He deserves to be seen. Mm-hmm. The 40-year-old guy that's played the banjo his whole life, he's got great music. He deserves it. That's why he's easy on the take. Because when these guys look at themselves, they go, man, look at me. I'm 50. I got all the gear. I did all the shows. I opened up all the stuff. Of course I deserve my shot. So when you get a guy like me to come around the corner and say, hey, man, you shot your fucking load, I automatically become the focus. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying you got to dig a little deeper, man. I'm not the person that have you over there on that fucking app. I didn't create this image of you, and I'm not going to take it away. I don't have the power to create an image of success for you, then they'll take it away and dangle it around.
That's what Spotify says.
That's what they're doing to you.
Mm-hmm.
You're just talking about it.
I'm just talking about it.
Yeah, you're just the messenger, really.
Right. So, if I talked about fake food every day, people get tired of it.
Well, people don't know what's fake music anymore. People are delusional.
Well, that's why I said, let's think back to the radio. Because people, if you say to people, hey, is music on the radio? Is that real? People say, yeah, that's real. It's real what? When music went over to the internet, I was alive. When music went over to the internet, people go, that's not real music.
But
Music comes on a disc. But before it came on a disc, people go, that's not real music. Real music's on the radio. All the real artists are on the radio because they convinced everybody that only real artists are on the radio. Mm-hmm. That's just like at some point, they confused the street performer. At one point, the street performer, he was fucking blazing it up. He had a cup on the ground with $1 million in it.
Yep.
Playing the fucking violin with his toes. Right? And then some smart guy, some A&R, some brilliant billboard, fancy label guy came over and said, hey man, you're not a real musician unless you go through me. This guy's been playing his whole life. He's got a big crowd. And he convinced the street musician, hey, you're never going to make it unless you get on the radio. And at some point, all the street musicians and all the talent that was in the theater going, oh man, maybe we should try this radio thing. And you want to know why? Because they couldn't get gigs anymore in the venue unless they had numbers on the radio.
Yeah,
Sound familiar?
Booking changed.
And then it changed music forever. So now people go, in order to be a real musician, you got to be on the radio. And that's what started payola and gatekeeping on the fucking radio. And it's been happening for 100 years. To this day.
And it's still illegal.
And it's still illegal.
And they're still doing it.
And they're still doing it.
And it's worse on Spotify. Just saying.
It's just and they'll come out with another gadget. They're doing it with AI now. They're saying if artists don't get their voices licensed, if you know what I mean, if you don't get your likeness, if I don't get my likeness, my William Savant voice and likeness, I have the companies right now that want to meet with us to license her voice. Because their claim is, I'm going to meet with them just so I can have the podcast content. But they want to meet because they want to convince me to buy this machine that's going to patent Melissa's voice so she can still be herself.
That's ridiculous.
We have so many gadgets that take up the stuff we're supposed to be doing. Like you had a dream. It was to play the bass, to go out and drive. Pretty soon, someone's going to drive for you, play the bass for you, tell you what you like, tell you what you want to listen to. We've got apps that tell you what to date. We've got apps that tell you what your favorite music is. We got apps for your mood. They're going to control the lighting. We got apps that tell you what recipe, how you should be exercising, who you should fuck, who you should date, when you should eat, when you should go to the store, what's the trend is, what's cool, what's the new dance. What's left?
That's what I'm talking about.
What's left to live?
Jesus.
That's the burnout I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I know,
What
that
you just said, that's the burnout I'm
What
talking
do we get
about.
to do?
There's nothing.
We got people to come and shop for us. We got people. It's like success is now defined on buying and subscribing to as many products so you can show to people that you don't do anything. Look, I don't even have to play guitar anymore. Look, no hands. I don't even have to perform. Look, it does it for me.
People just want people to do their
And then brag about it. So that's the problem. It's to convince people to buy into software and gadgets and imagery and promotionals and advertising and push it so far down our throats to groom us so hard to get us into complacency, to get us so hypnotized over convenience, luxury, popularity, leisure, so much. We'll sell off every fucking minute of our day, every image, every fucking sound wave. We'll sell every part of our lives so they can sell it back to us for a subscription. Every part, every dream, you want to be a fucking snowboarder or a fucking chef, there's a fucking product standing in your fucking way, dude. At every tier and every level of fucking life, there's a fucking app, there's a fucking gadget, there's a fucking salesman to convince you that you're not living the dream. And if you're foolish, you'll believe it. Most of your life will be trying to maintain, update, and upgrade and keep these apps alive so you can keep that image up. Because pretty soon, without these apps, without these gadgets reminding you what to eat, reminding you what to fuck, teaching your kids how to live, teaching your kids how to brush their teeth, because they've convinced you don't got time. You don't got time to learn a guitar. You don't got time. Mortality, you're going to die. You need a product to make you look young. You need a product to make you feel good. You need a pill to help you sleep at night. There's a salesman at every moment and every waking portion of your life during the day trying to talk you out of your own talent, talk you out of your own voice, talk you out of your own truth. The only reason why I know the difference than everybody out there in all these bands is because I'm not here for the music industry. I'm not here to shop. Because I've never had anything. I've never had anything that people can take away from me. Everything that I've ever had, I got myself. And everything that I have, no one can take away from me. Because I don't let people into my life that can dangle that carrot in front of my face. I do not allow salesmen into my life to give me a doggy bag so later on they can take it away and charge me a fee. I don't allow nobody to come into my life and convince me that I'm less of a man or less talented or less truthful or less meaningful or valuable. It takes a bad actor to come into your life and say, you're not a musician unless you go through the radio. You haven't made it unless you got a Grammy. You don't love me unless you have a ring. Somebody fooled you. Somebody fooled you. And the reason why I can't be fooled is because I grew up in county farms, institutions, jails, and state prisons. And the closest thing that resembles state prison, the closest thing that resembles prison culture is social media. The way people act on social media is the closest thing that I can say resembles people that have been traumatized in a social, psychological prison. That's the episode for tonight.
Thank you guys for watching. Bye.